Well, good morning, everyone. All of our Be Alert News, wonderful partners, and all of the Brighteon family. We're back, and look, we got a very exciting show for you. You know, we are going into the holiday seasons, but what does that really mean? Not just holiday, but holy days. We are about to embark upon an unfolding, I believe, of some of the greatest times that you are going to be so glad that you're living in. God chose this time for us, and I got a great guest. Bo Polny is going to be with me, and we're going to share some facts, but we're also going to share some revelation of what is happening in America, even around the world. What is going on? How does the book of Revelations play into all of this? And how should you be prepared for everything that is coming on the scene? I am so excited. We're going to be right back in just a few short moments from our sponsors.
The world we once knew is collapsing. We're being warned to expect rolling blackouts, and our political leaders are deliberately shutting down pipelines, fuel refineries, nuclear power plants, and energy exploration. The currency is collapsing, while financial assets are plummeting in value, and the global food supply is being deliberately decimated. To survive this war being waged on humanity, you need more than just regular prepping. You need resilient prepping. And that's the title of my new free audiobook, Resilient Prepping. You can download the entire audiobook and a printable PDF transcript for free right now at resilientprepping.com. Resilient Prepping teaches practical strategies for prepping in 3 layers: high-tech, low-tech, and no-tech. Resilient Prepping is your ultimate guide to surviving the total collapse of the world as we know it, because that's exactly what globalists are trying to achieve. Download this entire audiobook for free right now at resilientprepping.com.
Hey, it's Karen Kingston here. I'm here at Brighteon TV, and I strongly encourage you to tune in to all their stations. Why? Because if you want to learn about truth, America, and God, this is the channel to tune into. Thank you so much. God bless America.
Tired of being surveilled and tracked by the wireless phone companies and a rogue government? Get off the surveillance grid by turning to Volta Wireless. By plugging the Volta SIM card into your phone, you become hidden from the spy networks of AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and other carriers, while maintaining your full ability to place and receive phone calls and SMS texts. Go to voltawireless.com and use discount code BTV to save big on your first month. You get free VPN services included, plus a private messenger that's encrypted, as well as another Volta private phone number that can coexist with your current number. Learn more at voltawireless.com and use discount code BTV for major savings. It works with both iPhones and Android phones across 200 plus countries. Volta Wireless is the official wireless privacy sponsor of Brighteon.tv.
Hi everybody, Doug Billings here from The Right Side. Hey, if you want to have your own daily dose of intellectual maturity, join me every Tuesday night on Brighteon TV. For the Republic, believe it. Cheers.
All right, we're back, and we're so thankful that you took out some time to be with us today. We want to thank God, too, for our sponsors here at Brighteon. Mike Adams has done just a wonderful job. The relevancy of this platform is amazing. I mean, there are some places that you do not hear this information. So, look, if you want to continue to support us, go to brighteonstore.com, put in the code BALERT, and get up to 5% discount on some of his amazing products. And again, we're living in the last days. It's good to be what we call preventative and be preemptive as well. And don't let anything surprise you. And that's what you can do when you go to BrighteonStore.com and get those amazing products. You know, I had last week Stephen Moore on, economic advisor, just talking about, you know, the inflation, the high gas prices, the stagflation, you know, Larry Kudlow, the cavalry is coming, you know, and what we have to do, get back our energy independence, get back our public safety again, close the borders, oh my God, and help our parents when it comes to their parental rights and stand with our children and get transgender teaching out of our schools when it comes to our young kids. These are all basic things, but then there's another flip side, and I think that's why we have Bo Polny on. There's also a revelation of Christ. There's a spiritual dichotomy that is going on right now. Some want us to be what we call blinded, and some want our eyes to be wide open. I believe Bo Polny wants our eyes wide open instead of wide shut. And we got to see this, not to put any fear in what's going on in these last days. But the Bible clearly says, I am coming as a thief in the night. Now, for those that understand thievery, when you come like that, he's planning on a moment that you're not watching. Now, Bo Polny wants us to not be like those who allow thieves to come in, break in, and take what we have, but we want to be watching as well as praying. Bo, are you there, my friend?
I am. Thank you, Pastor. God bless you, your family. Thank you for having me here, and exciting times we do live in. So again, we have much to discuss today, and thank you again for everything you do.
We've been hitting each other, the Reawaken tours, and I know the flyover conservatives, those patriots, David and Stacy Whited. I mean, I just love them. And this information and what's going on now, people need to wake up. What do you say about that?
It's very true, right? You read, all we can do is we take the Bible, right? And what I do, I analyze timelines, right? But what does it say? There's this part in the Bible, so it talks about Ecclesiastes, that which has been will be again. The Bible is a source of information to give us knowledge forward, because if Ecclesiastes is true, we know the Bible is true, that which has been will be again. Events of old are going to happen again. They'll be with new characters, new people, but the events, these similar things are going to happen in a different way, because it's a different age. But the point being is you can still read scriptures and apply it to present day. Just like the one scripture we can start with today, Genesis 6 verse 12. God saw the earth and it was corrupt.
Yeah.
Just apply that.
Basically.
That's a 1,000-year-old verse that you can apply to today. So that's the use of Ecclesiastes. Understand? So people need to understand. You simply take the Bible scriptures of old, apply them to the present day, and you get what? Revelation.
It's amazing. Christ was not just only in the New Testament. Christ was also in the Old Testament too.
He was at the beginning of time, right? Yes. He knew that when God created man, that man would fall. And so he was with the Father, knowing that he would have to come to earth to redeem man. He agreed. So that's why he said to the Pharisees, before Abraham was, I am.
Yeah, well, tell us about the relationship now, because we're seeing high taxes, inflation, stagflation. We're seeing gas prices about to go up again. We're seeing the barrels of oil about to increase. The money is starting to look funny. Did I just rhyme? The money is looking funny. Bo, what is going on with that? And what is the relationship when it comes to the money and prophecy? The money and prophecy.
All right, so I just shared a screen. I hope you can see it. So this is a screen of September 24th. Okay, and so people need to understand, right? God the Father, the world. Let's go back to Genesis, right? God saw the world and it is corrupt. So where was that in the Bible? That was right before the flood. Okay.
Yes.
God
Yes.
then after the flood, there was a rainbow, and God promised he would never flood the earth again. And that's correct. We're not going to see a worldwide flood, but what we are going to see is another kind of a flood of the US dollar back to the United States. And what does that mean? That means that the United States has flooded the world with a monetary system backed by nothing, created out of thin air, and it's gone all over the world. You know, it's like these videos, they go viral, right? This money's gone viral all over the world, and it's made the world corrupt because the money system has allowed the politicians and the globalists to buy and pay off everybody. So this is now we're watching and experiencing and witnessing the Daniel 2 prophecy come to fruition with Daniel 2 verse 34, and a stone carved out by no human hand. What does that mean, Pastor? It means God, right? God is going to complete Daniel 2 verse 34, a stone carved out by no human hand. That means his glory, right? Takes down the statue of Babylon. And so now where are we in Revelation? This is Revelation. We're in end times. It started in the year 2020 with the opening of the first seal corona, okay? And then we had peace taken from the earth, and now we're at third seal. It doesn't matter what anybody wants to believe. We are in the seals, the four horsemen. We're about to see the riding of the manifestation of the third horseman. What is the third horseman? It's two things. It's a black horse with a rider holding what in his hands? Scales. Yeah. So the chart that we're looking at here, September 24th was the start. Okay. On that day, the British pound plummeted to record lows against the dollar. Okay. So what we're starting to see here is the fall of the money system. Because what did Christ do? He goes into the temple and he flips the tables on who? The money changers, because he knew that they were the root of all evil, because they love money. And so he knew that it's the love of money which they love, and they were going to corrupt the earth for the next 2,000 years. And that's why Christ was so upset with the money changers, because he knew that they were going to do it with the money. And so we just saw.
And I think he said, my house should be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves.
A den of thieves, right? That's the essence. So again, Ecclesiastes, that which has been will be again. So that was a flipping of the money tables. This is a flipping of the money system. So we're about to witness, okay? So another thing, so I was on your show like maybe 2-3 weeks ago saying September 24th, 25th was going to be something very important. Rosh Hashanah. Now let's go back to the last 3 Rosh Hashanahs, okay? People need to understand the magnitude of Rosh Hashanah and God, because that's God, the start of God's new year. And that's just the start. So September of 2020, you know what happened on Rosh Hashanah? Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
Okay.
And so what happened 2 years later? Roe v. Wade was overturned. You see what happens? Rosh Hashanah is the triggering event, and then following is the completionary event, whether it's days or months or a year or two later. Okay, so then the next Rosh Hashanah of September 2021, so last year, the Evergrande bonds, I was on 25th, the Rosh Hashanah day, they had to shut down the bond trading in China, because if they did in China, would have collapsed.
Wow.
Okay, and so now we see another financial event that happens on this Rosh Hashanah, September 24th and 25th. What do we see? The collapse of the British pound. And just before that, what do we see? 2 weeks before the death of the harlot of Revelation. That was the queen. So we're watching the fall of the harlot. So we are in end times. We're watching the collapse of the fall of the harlot, which gives the world a breather, because the blessings that come is going to be Proverbs 13:22. The wealth of the sinner, the overturning of the money tables, becomes the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. And that will be fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28, where we become the lenders to the nations. And why do we need money? Why? Go ahead.
Because one of the things that goes on that sometimes we don't see, if we're not reading the word of God for ourselves to get our relationship with God solidified. When God is speaking to the body of Christ, is he that hath ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying unto the churches. Now, even though some of these characters that you were mentioning are Old Testament, spirits don't die. Demons
Bingo.
don't die. Baal, Molech, Ashtoreth, Jezebel, these spirits don't die. They just move on and try to infiltrate one generation to another.
Yes.
And blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, that is able to detect or discern those spirits from old. And I think sometimes we take for granted, Bo, that there are generations, Joshua generations, that are able to take down these spirits and understand how these spirits infiltrate a generation and how we have the power to cast them out.
No, you're totally right. And again, going back, our presentation started on the flood, right? Genesis 6:12, right? So the purpose of the flood, why did God flood the earth? Because it says, when you read Genesis earlier, it talks specifically, the men of renown thought the women were fair, so they took them as their wives, and then they created what's called the Nephilim, which is the big secret. Because the reason for the big secret across this earth is the giants. The Nephilim are the giants. That's the big secret, people. Google, they were real. See, the thing is, if the giants are real, it proves the Bible, it proves Revelation, it proves the fallen ones. Okay, because the gods, these fallen angels come down, they mate with women to create giants on the earth. And it's a very big problem. If you find a femur that's 10 feet long, right, that's a very big problem to say, what is that? Where did that come from? Because it immediately will prove the Bible. And that's the problem these globalists had. They've forever been trying to hide the Nephilim, but you're right. So the flood killed the Nephilim, but not the spirits that was in them, right? And so these spirits now have manifested. So they've occupied, because remember, spirits look to occupy. So they're occupying politicians. They're occupying people in the Vatican. They're occupying. They're also, and that's like the pyramid in the back of the dollar bill. It has the pyramid, and then the triangle at the very top, right? That's the gate to hell. All right. So the gate to hell controls the pyramid. And that's where the Nephilim sit, the spirits sit. They're always at the very top. And that goes back to the 7 hills, right? The people of the earth truly are not corrupt. It's the top is always corrupt. Right. So any 3-letter agency, it's not the people, it's the top of the pyramid. It's always the top. And that's where the Nephilim spirits reside.
Isn't that amazing? Isaiah 2:2 says that in these last days, that the tops of the mountains, the Lord shall build his house at the top of the mountains of the mount of the Lord. And then he shall call his people to the top to say, come, let us go into the house of the Lord, that we might learn the ways of God at the top. Do you think some of this is happening even right now with the breaking down of the money system, that this big mountain you saw in Daniel's is coming to fruition of the house of the Lord being on top of all of these other mountains, mountain of economy, mountain of media, mountain of education, mountain of government, mountain of religion, mountain of family, mountain of sports and entertainment? Do you feel that that's what's going on right now? Because I love the information that you're sharing.
Right. So now I just put a screen up, and now that'll I'll give you a visual representation. So what we're talking about, the mountains are being rid by the harlot. Okay. So if you look at the screen, what it says, when you read Revelation at 17, it says, and I saw a woman, which is the harlot, sitting on a scarlet beast, and it was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. So the 7 heads are what you just described, and also Lance Wallno does a good representation of this as well too. But basically, the 7 hills, or the 7 mountains, is the church, the family, because what do? They're trying to destroy the family, the transgenderism, right? Yes. They're trying to control the church with the 501c3, the education system. Look what they're doing to that, sticking in there. The government, well, we know the government's all messed up, right? They're upside down. Entertainment, media. family, education, government, entertainment, media, all with the money, okay? And so we're about to witness, because so number one, the queen is dead, so the harlot's dead. She was riding the Scarlet Beast. Well, there's no more rider on the Scarlet Beast. The Scarlet Beast is about to fall. The financial on the British pound just collapsed. So we're about to plummet. We're about to see, so now that there's no rider on the Beast is about to fall apart. And this is the cool part. We're about to, this is like, potentially as starting as early as 2 weeks from now. Today is the 10th, so right around the 24th of October. So because everything's, you'll see 24 is a very powerful number for, for God, but the end of this month, so the last week of October is supposed to be epic in terms of market crashes, and then November is supposed to be historic for what's about to happen to the US dollar. And why is it about the dollar? Because the dollar is Goliath, right? God's got to destroy the dollar, because that's what built Babylon right now. So the dollar's got to crash. But so we talk about the 7 hills. So let's read Psalm 97. You will love this, Pastor. Okay. The Lord reigns. Let the earth be glad. Let the distant shores rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround him. Righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. Fire goes before him and consumes his foe on every side. His lightning lights up the world. The earth sees and trembles. The mountains melt like wax. Mm-hmm. I'm going to repeat. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all the earth, and heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all peoples will see his glory. So we just talked about the 7 hills. When God intervenes, when the glory manifests, Pastor,
yes,
you're going to see those 7 hills melt like wax. If you read the stories of Daniel and throughout the Bible, within 20, and also look at the Red Sea miracle, right? In 24 hours, it's always about those mountains are going to start to melt like wax. In 24 hours, when the glory manifests. So we're about to see the manifestation of his glory. I believe it hits here in late October, most likely in November. But November is going to be a year to fulfill the prophecy of Kim Clement, Hypnotic November. Because the charts are pointing to that the dollar is expected to collapse in the month of November. And if you do read Genesis, right, again back to Ecclesiastes, what did Genesis state? And when you read Genesis 7 verse 11, it says in the 7th month, on the 2nd month, the 17th day, that's Sheshvan. 17 Sheshvan, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. But the point is that's 11/11, November 11th.
Let me ask you a question.
So that's when the grounds broke open, the earth broke, and it's all heck broke loose across the ocean.
We probably have to cover this on the other side, but where do the people run to? Because because people probably want to know, what do I do with my money, and what do I do with my heart? Because I don't want this thing just to be about the money falling, because there's a lot of hearts who are not ready for the coming of the Lord. There's a lot of people. Where do I run to? Do I run to the hills? Do I run to the bank? Do I run to grandma's house? Do I run to Walmart? Where do people go?
The money has been the idol. See, that's the thing, where it's idol worship. So because of the amount of money in the world that's been created out of thin air, the world now worships money, not God. So that's what's about to flip. When God flips the tables, we're gonna be not worshiping money anymore, because it's gonna collapse. It's gonna crash. Not going to zero, but it's gonna be horrible. What's about to happen is gonna be horrible, but it's a double-edged sword, right? What is the glory? You can expand on this, right? But the glory is always a double-edged sword. It's what you have sown, thus shall you reap. So what did you sow? That's what the glory will manifest for you. Correct, Pastor?
Yeah, I think, and I want people to understand the church is not going anywhere. With all of this, the book of Revelations always talks about a people that is called out by his name, that he seals, whether it be Israel, the 144,000, 12,000 from every tribe, or whether it be those who did not take the mark of the beast. Okay, there will always be a people who did not give in to the spirit of Babylon. As a matter of fact, he calls his bride out in Revelation 18. I think that might be a good place for us to start on the other side, calling his bride out and what that looks like, calling his bride out. I think we have something, Bo, that if people really want to know, they can know for themselves. And
Yes.
we, as what we call oracles of God, because every time I get with you, man, you you light up, you just light up the whole room, light up the camera, light up everything is like lights. And I think we gotta shine.
It's good news.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds. Give us an intro into the next section. What do we need to deal with when it comes to this fall of the money?
So it's very simple. Revelation 18, verse 4, it says, get out of her, be not partaker of her sins. So we're going to talk about the financial system and how to separate yourself from Babylon. That's the essence, because we need to be not partakers of her sins. So you don't need to worry about the mark of the beast, because we are not going to partake in that. We're going to discuss that.
Look, you heard it. Look, we've been talking. I know for some of you, you're probably going, what in the heck? Leon, what are you doing to us? I'm trying to go to Walmart today and make groceries. Okay, go to Walmart, get your groceries, but get this word, get this revelation of Christ. This is what it's all coming down to. The Bible, Bible. And some people say basic instructions before leaving earth. But how about being able to understand what's going to happen to the earth? Don't just get ready to leave. Find out what's going to happen here. We'll be right back after a few short messages from our sponsor.
Key easily converts your AR rifle to bolt action, allowing you to keep the rifle you love in assault weapon jurisdictions. The Cali Key is a true fast drop-in solution. No permanent changes to your rifle. Import, transport, own, and have fun with your AR. Why the Cali Key? Because a bolt action is not an assault weapon. Stay future ready from gun bans with the Cali Key. The Cali Key also lets you quickly and easily build your ideal hunting rifle, lets you build a quiet as suppressed rifle, and benefits your long-range precision shooting. Available now at CaliKey.com with free shipping.
Your own government has the power to activate a kill switch on all telecommunications, instantly shutting down all private phone calls and texts. An EMP weapon or solar flare can achieve the same result. Rolling blackouts or permanent power outages will also take out the power supply to cell tower antennas, rendering mobile devices all but useless. During these emergencies, how do you stay in touch with the important people in your life anywhere on the planet? The answer is the Bivy Stick at SAT123.com. The Bivy Stick is a two-way satellite text messaging device that uses a satellite constellation, not cell towers, to send and receive text messages. It works anywhere on planet Earth, including in war zones or blackout areas. In unpredictable times, the Bivy Stick helps you stay connected when it matters most. Visit SAT123.com to get one while they're still available. The global currency collapse will wipe out the dollar and many other assets, and the only things that will maintain value during the global debt reset are those with intrinsic value that do not require governments, corporations, or markets to make good on their obligations. At the top of this list of intrinsic assets is physical gold and silver. These precious metals have outlasted every failed civilization and government in human history. And they are non-digital, which means they still hold value even if the power grid fails. The Treasure Island Coins and Precious Metals Company is my go-to source for physical precious metals that are delivered securely and discreetly into your hands. Visit brighteonmetals.com to check their live pricing and in-stock coins and bars. Find out why they are my trusted source for physical metals and why they're the official sponsor of Brighteon.tv. brighteonmetals.com.
All right, I'm hoping that some of you all went and got that old Bible in the shelf and just blew on it, okay, and got the dust off of the Bible, and now you're going, where do I start? Where do I read? Where do I go from here? I hope you have a nice church home that is not afraid to talk about what we've been talking about, because if you don't, then you might as well go in and put that Bible back on the shelf, okay? But look, I got Bo Polny here. And again, Brighteon, you got to understand, Mike Adams has done an awesome job in making this platform relevant. We're not censored, okay? And so look, you can help us stay relevant. Go to brighteonstore.com and put in the code Be Alert. Get these products. Look, get 5% discount. You're supporting us and other great people. You know, you listen to them. Ann Vandersteel, Doug Billings, Dr. Stellas, many others, Stu Peters. Come on. You support Clay Clark. Come on. They're on this platform. John Diamond. Oh my goodness. I can keep going on and on. But this is a moment for you. Let's do it. Now, look, Bo Polny has been hopefully awakening some of you and maybe scaring some of you. But look, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So our intentions is not to scare you, but to awaken you, and also myself. I'm being awakened as well. Bo, let's talk about the relevancy of the money falling and where the people go. Where do the people go?
See, this is the thing, right? God does nothing before first speaking through his servants, the prophets. There are, we go on stage, you can turn your YouTube on. There's numerous prophets that God speaks through. We are not, like, I'm not a prophet, but God still speaks to us. It's written, okay? So we're messengers, okay? And if we don't pass on the message, then we're accountable. We're accountable, okay? And so the financial system that we've been forever been told that money's bad. Listen, people, that's a deception of Satan. Satan, he lies, steals, kills, destroys. That's what he does. But God gives us life more what? Abundantly. How do you get life more abundantly? How do you do that? With the finances. We're to be the lenders to the nations. There's numerous scriptures. The silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. So it's Haggai 2 verse 8. So there's numerous scriptures that talk about the money system. The money system allows us. So there's many people out there that do not have the means because of what's happened, to them and what's going on in the world. That's okay. But guess what? That's why God loves you. And and your job is to, number one, is to have faith. Okay. You're supposed to love God, have faith, and understand that everything, what we speak, what's written in the Bible is scriptural and real. You need to believe that, because it doesn't matter how many verses there are or how many translations of the Bible are. You can read there could be 1,000 translations and versions of the Bible, but the bottom line is Jesus died on the cross and rose on the third day. Period. I don't care what language is written on. That's what happened, and he conquered evil. That's what happened. And then I take the Bible, and you look at mathematics in it, and you can look at 1,000 different script versions of the Bible, but the math doesn't change in the Bible. So the point is, the money system will allow us to separate ourselves, because when God flips the tables, you have to read Matthew. Blessings, because blessings are going to be minimum 30, 60, and 100 fold to start off with. Okay, so if you take as an example, right, if you're in a situation where you have financial means and you have all this money in the bank, people, you have to understand the money system is a fraud. Okay, they created out of thin air. Nixon took us off the gold standard in 71, and all that's ever happened is they create money and more money, and now they bought everybody and everything on the earth. And so you got Bill Gates being able to go buy massive chunks of land in the United States. Why? Because they create the money out of thin air. He works with them. He has a means to buy it all. But guess what? The prophecy says the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. So these people are about to lose everything. Okay, they're about to lose everything. You're about to, and then we're in the 50-year jubilee. Leviticus states, "Thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of its inhabitants." We're about to be blessed like you could never imagine before. First off, we're going to be free from bondage. The banking system, is about to fail and break. It starts in November. Because they could crash here into October, and then November is going to be a crash of the dollar, and so God's going to flip the tables on these people, and so the bonds, because bonds, right? Same thing happened to Pharaoh in Israel. They were freed from bondage. That's what's about to happen. So this is not bad news. This is great news. God's about to free his people.
I think it's amazing too, because when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, we call it the Exodus, it says they borrowed, and not a few. They got the silver, they got the gold, they got the silk, they got the colors, the purple, they got all these things. But then he says, I'm taking you into a land that's flowing of milk and honey. So there was another system coming out of one system. There was another system that was waiting for them in the land of Canaan. How does this relate to America right now? Because I know that there's no other better place I want to go than being right here in America. I don't want to go over to China. I don't want to go over to Europe. I don't want to go to Africa. I don't want to go. I want to stay right here. And so how does the Exodus principle work in America?
Pastor, that's a fantastic question. Thank you for doing this, okay? So what's about to happen is, remember, they built that, we talked about the triangle, the pyramid, the back of the dollar bill, the all-seeing eye, which is the control system. That's the gate to hell, right? And so God's going to, you said it earlier, God's going to replace the gates to hell with his church, right? So he's going to replace it all. So all those 7 hills get rebuilt. So in the United States, we're going to have a new financial system built on God's money, gold and silver. Once the financials, because it was all about the money. When the money system fails, the fraudulent money system fails, God's going to enact his money, gold and silver. So we're going to have a money system this year. You'll see in the United States, I'm almost positive it's going to happen this year, backed by a dollar that's back, or like a treasury note or something that's backed by gold and silver. So the gold and silver will be the instrument of the United States and then the world. And then that's the start. And then you're going to have a building of a new church. Now, I don't mean new churches. I'm meaning the stadiums that are for soccer and football right now, those are going to be packed with Christians shouting Jesus. That's the new church, because Matthew says blessings are 30, 60, 100 fold. So we're not going to have 5,000 like at the Clay Clark events. We're going to have 50,000 at the stadium, stack in the stadiums. That's the new church that's coming. We got a new education system. We got a new new entertainment. All the entertainment they built is going to be used for Christ. All the media that they've used, they're going to fall, and the new media is going to be built like just what you're doing here with Brighteon. So the 7 hills that fall will be 7 new ones that are built. And how does it happen? Because God's going to use his anointed. People, please listen. That's why 45 Trump is not allowed to be there right now, because he is a builder. Just like Jesus Christ was a carpenter. When you go and you read Zechariah is very clear about carpenters and builders. We're going to touch on that right now. When you read Zechariah, it says right here, in Zechariah 1, and on the 24th day of the 11th month of the 2nd year, November 24th, Thanksgiving. Hello, people. Okay. It says on that, so came by the prophet Zechariah. Well, let's read this. I have returned to Jerusalem. I mean, God has returned to Jerusalem with mercy. My cities shall again overflow with what, Pastor? Prosperity.
Prosperity.
So we're going to see the return of Trump. I believe he returns here in November. But I'm thinking November, but before year end, Trump will be returning to rebuild what God took down. So this is what people need to understand. I know this sounds crazy, okay? But God is going to destroy Babylon. Fallen is Babylon the Great. And how does he do it? A stone carved out by no human hand. See, God destroys the statue of Babylon, the Daniel 2 prophecy. The statue falls, Babylon falls. And then, well, we're not left in ruins, right? Because God has a plan. And so then you get the return of 45 to do what? To rebuild. Because he has to rebuild a new everything, because everything falls. The 7 hills melt like wax. I know this sounds crazy, but God is, this actually doesn't sound crazy. This is impossible. This is impossible. It's impossible. But God is the master of making impossible possible.
Well, look, Bo, look, it doesn't sound crazy. You're not crazy. I think the ones that are crazy are the ones who don't want restoration, the ones who don't want, our independence from tyranny. I think those are the crazy ones who doesn't want Christ to come to return again. That's the crazy ones. And those who want us to give into the vaccines, give into this world global economic reset, give into Klaus Schwab, give into Yuval Nahari, give in to all these people, Bill Gates, give in to George Soros, give in to all, but no, that's the crazy ones. You're not crazy. And those that believe that Christ will restore all things, they are not crazy. Keep talking, man. I know we got some time here. Go ahead.
Right, you know, and I use the word crazy because it is so extraordinary what we're discussing, right? But you know, if you think about, you know, Israel being in bondage for 400 years, and to think that they're going to be freed, that's crazy until it happened, right?
Until it happened, right? So all these things in the Bible, you know, you've got you could just go story after story in the Bible, and they're all crazy stories because they all happened. They're crazy because they happened, right? And so for those, like we're saying right here, you know, Ecclesiastes, that which has been will be again, right? Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Let them hear. So we're not talking crazy. We're talking scriptural. We are talking scripture, and then we're overlaying even prophecy on it. But I'm telling you, this is what's coming, because God will not be what, Pastor? He will not be mocked, okay? For what a man soweth, thus shall he reap. And we just read Zechariah 1. What is the probability that Zechariah 1, written a couple thousand years, 2,500 years ago, just happens to land on precisely this Thanksgiving? It's not possible. And number two is, you know, it talks about the return of the blessing, you know, of I will prosper my people. My point is, okay, is nothing's random in this world. The whole world is by design. And what is Thanksgiving? It's the harvest. It's the harvest, people. And the harvest is very specific, right? What you have sown, thus shall you reap. And so you cannot... If you understand, I did some research this week. I found it very fascinating. A farmer, when he plants the wheat, what gets mixed in the wheat sometimes are the seeds of the weeds. And so as they grow, the weeds will grow with the wheat. Okay, right.
But
something like
this is very interesting. You're not allowed to pull the weeds out while the wheat is growing, because you'll destroy the good wheat. So you have to wait to harvest, so they both grow together. Now, I'm not talking about the return of Christ right now, where Christ comes, return to separate the weeds and the tares. This is the point where God the Father, the glory is going to manifest, and the manifestation is going to allow the separation of the wheat and the tares physical right now. And so what's about to happen is when God manifests, that's the light. And what does the light do to darkness? It exposes the evil. So we're about to see the evil that was put upon this earth, and what they're trying to do to us, right? So with the seeds that they've sown to try to hurt us, those seeds of evil that they planted are about to be reaped on the right. And that correlates with the third seal of Revelation, the black horse. The black represents their death. So we are about to see immense deaths across this world, not of the bride or the coming bride, you know, or bride to be, or the church, God's church. No, it's them for what they did. So it's an overturning of the money tables. The financial system flips, and then these people are about to reap what they have sown. And on the other side of it, those, you know, so the bond, financial freedom for the church. And then the second thing is those who prepared financially will have blessings, will have means for what's about to happen.
Well,
so it's really incredible.
Let's take a couple of minutes and talk about this, because as you say, we don't know when Christ is going to come back. So it says no man knows the hour, but we can still have dominion in the earth. Let the Redeemer of the Lord say so. So let's prepare. How can people prepare for this financial shift? Because I don't want to just call it a financial fall, because it has to be also a shift as well in this new system. How can people prepare?
Okay, well, first off, this is not a financial shift. That's the better word even to use is the greatest financial event in human history.
Okay.
Because when God's involved, we're talking insanity is about to happen. You're going to see prices on God's money, precious metals. You're going to see silver go from $20 an ounce to $600 an ounce, probably in a matter of a few months. Why? Because that's Matthew, right? 30 blessings. And that's only the first level. Forget six. That's not even 60 and 100-fold blessings. So immense financial blessings are coming upon the earth. And again, and please understand when it says no man knows the day or the hour of Christ's return, it means exactly that. Because if you read, because at Rosh Hashanah, what happens is until the crescent moons appears, it could be a day here, could be a day there, or 2 days. No one until you see the crescent moon. That's why no one knows the day or the hour. But before Christ returns, he's going to speak through his prophets, okay? And we're going to know the year. Just like we know this is the year 2022 of the greatest financial event, of the third seal of Revelation, the fall of Babylon. So we know that it's this year. We just don't know. I'm going to repeat. We don't know the day or the hour this is going to go down. And I'm telling you, it's going to be most likely in November, but I don't know the day. I don't know the hour. And that's the essence of it.
Yeah.
And so we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But
we must prepare people. I've never seen a time where the laziness of man. I have to say this.
The 10 virgins. Talk about the 10 virgins. Talk about the 10 virgins.
It was 10 of them. 5 was wise and 5 was foolish. And
that's what we're talking about.
They just said, look, I'll just burn my oil and I'll just burn it all out. But they all fell asleep and woke up and heard the sound of the archangel saying, the bridegroom cometh. And then they asked the 5 wise, they said, hey, give me some of your oil. And they said, not so. You got money, get it? You got money, go buy, right? But that wasn't the time to buy. They missed the hour of the bridegroom because they went to go buy in a system that could not get them through the door to see the bridegroom. Now, that is something where now your money doesn't work anymore. I think this is alluding to people who want to buy at the wrong time. How about that?
Yeah, no, you nailed it, because what's about to happen, right? So those sitting on the fence saying, well, let's see if what we're saying is going to manifest, right? When the glory manifests, silver and gold are going to do a moonshot. Okay, it's all going to happen in 24 hours, and the dealers will all shut down. And so, yes, you might have bonds. You're going to be freed from bondage, but you won't be blessed potentially with the blessings that are coming because you never prepared. You were the 5 virgins that didn't prepare. God's spoken through all the prophets. Okay, I've been speaking about gold and silver for a long time, and I'm putting all the pieces together. But there's a lot of prophets. Amanda, Ken Christmas, Robin Bullock. They're all talking about financial blessings that are coming. So God's spoken through his prophets, and it says Haggai 2 verse 8, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. So the 5 virgins that prepared, what are they doing? They're buying gold and silver, particularly silver. They've been stocking up on silver. Why? Because God's spoken through his prophets that he's about to bless his church, right? So we're at a point in time where those who have ears to hear are listening. You should, number one, they're listening because they have faith. So faith is number one, right? You need to believe this is all about to happen. That's critical, right? And the next thing is food and water. Food and water. I think on ads I saw them Brighteon selling food. People, get some food. There's going to be food shortages for us for a while. Okay, there's going to be food lines. We have the crash of 1929 about to manifest. Okay, this is going to be crazy. The money system, we're going to lose the idol. The idol's been money. People have been worshiping money and not God. God's going to flip the tables. And when the people, the 7 hills, one of the hills, when the church rises, okay, the money that is fallen. So there's no more that idol's gone. So people be worshiping the church, but they're doing it because God's going to knock them to their knees. I guarantee the reason you're doing what you're doing because at some point in your life, God took you to your knees. Happened to me, right? Everybody that I know who has the fire was on their knees and gave themselves to God, and God now has raised them, right? And so it's so incredibly important to have food and water right now. So when these events go down, the world that didn't listen, didn't have ears to hear, they're rushing to the store to get whatever they can if they can get anything. Okay, and the money's collapsed, right? And so they're going to have problems. But those that prepared, the 5 virgins that had the oil, are safely at home with their families, have extra food, have extra water, are not stressed, and more importantly, they've got silver, they've got some gold, whatever. So whatever financial system God's about to raise, and with the new financial system that comes online, the new hill, the financial hill that's built, you're a part of it. So when it's built, you're already in because you purchased. You prepared in advance. And I do want to tell you, I don't want to put one last thing and then you can go from here. The army of Gideon is assembled. The army, I'm going to repeat, the army of Gideon of 300 is assembled, and it happened on Rosh Hashanah. I was there. So my good friend, the prophetess, Lois Vogel-Sharp, she had 600-700 people sign up. Pastor, on Saturday at the close, when people head count came through, 300 people on the nose. showed up. We just,
Wow.
and then we blew, and then 30 shofar up. We were on stage blowing. If you read Judges 7, verse 22, and when they blew the trumpets, the Lord set the sword of one against another through the entire army. So how is God going to do it? I don't know, but you're going to watch Judges 7, verse 22. They're going to turn on one another, and you're going to see the fall. The 300 takes down the 100,000.
Go, but I'm telling you, and that's why I thank God for Dave and Stacy, the Flower Conservative Patriots. This thing is about to go down. You guys heard it. I know it's like a fire hose today. All right, that's okay. We're gonna put it out again. You'll be able to hear this again. We're gonna put it on social media.
Watch this 2 or 3 times. Watch this 2 or 3 times. A lot of information.
How can they get a hold of you quickly? Email, contact. How can they get a hold of you?
Email is gold2020forecast@aol.com, or my website, gold2020forecast.com. Go to my website, check things out. But we are in epic times. Monday, October 24th is expected to be the start of all of this. So I don't know if it's going to happen on that day or not, but I'm telling you, the last week of October, fireworks coming.
Look, gang, you've heard it. Bo Polny, and I'm not crazy. He's not crazy, and Jesus sure ain't crazy. And look, we love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday. Let's do this thing. Get ready. God bless you.